airfield by flying from here to Entebbe using Aerolink, which has 6 flights that come here every day. I am also a tour operator, and most of my visitors use the airfield. I have had several complaints from the airline operators about the state of the airfield. One, it used to have potholes and there were flying stones. We are now happy that this airstrip, which is 1.2 kilometers, is now tarmacked and it is okay. However, there are challenges of the environment, the surroundings. Looking at the trees, which are now caused like the clearance is not okay. You can see those trees which are there. And the Civil Aviation Authority, I have been talking to Mr. Wamwesige, who is the managing director, and the minister, Honorable Katumba Wamala, who have been complaining that the people in Kisoro have failed to cooperate with the government and the Civil Authority to clear the airfield and even to provide room for expansion, because expansion needs that it should graduate from 1.2 kilometers, meaning 1,200 meters, to 2,800 meters, where we can receive bigger flights from Goma and from Rwanda. But of recent, I talked to the MD, who told me that you see that hill called Muganza is supposed also to be put down. So that now the flights can either land towards the border with Chanika or from Chanika when the weather or the winds, depending on where they are moving. Because as we talk now, the flights take in one direction and also land in one direction because of the wind. And at times here in Kisoro, the flights may not take off in the evening just because of the poor management of the environment. Secondly, there are people who encroached on the airfield. And those people who encroached on the airfield, when we told the Civil Aviation Authority to reopen the boundaries, they came up with a report where they have agreed to compensate whoever is the bona fide person and is inside, to provide for about 3 kilometers of the stretch. So the people are willing, but the government has not formalized the communication and they need to compensate. That's the challenge. But because of the competing environment, people in Kabale want an airfield, people in Kanungu want an airfield. But Kisoro is the most visited district in the whole country. But they are mixing politics with economics. And that's why the president was in Kanungu and he was told that we need an international airport. Here we are on international border 3. We have Rwanda here, which is 8 kilometers, and we have DRC, which is 12 kilometers. We have a range of volcanic mountains. And here in Kisoro District is the only district, I think even in the whole world, that is the home to the mountain gorillas. So far, we have about 16 families which are habituated. There is no another district that has 16. And this is where the tourists come. Because we are not going to move these mountains to Kanungu. We cannot move these mountains to Kanungu or eat gorillas. We have carideras, we have the scenery here, we have the culture. So people compete. And because people in Kisoro feel that they are not politically represented, those who are politically represented, they fight and grab the resources which would be in Kisoro. That's why we are losing out. So now, when you come here to say that let us promote this airfield, you find that people who are agents of the people who are fighting this airport, not to grow, they say, these things should not be known. But if it is not known, then whose purpose is it? This is a public asset. People must know how it is made. We should have known how much money was put here, and we didn't even look for value for money. Because as we talk, they were supposed to tarmac from the apron there up to the offices. Now you can see that this work was not done. Just because people are hiding the money they were supposed to pay, the one was not paid. So that's another matter that should be investigated, such that there is a lot of transparency involved. So we are not doing it in bad faith. We are doing it to promote Civil Aviation Authority's work. We are doing it to promote tourism. And we are doing it for transparency purposes. That's what I can say from those things. But we have now appealed to the people who have trees that please formalize, and they compensate them. They clear them. Even those people who have land in the neighborhood, they are willing. But government, what it says, what the authority says, is not what they do. That's another problem.
You say
that 6 flights daily here, and those ones are coming here because we have more than 50 tourist hotels in each zone. So are we going now to say to shift these hotels to Kabale? Do we shift these hotels or shift the borders to Kanungu? So we should be realistic. Yeah.
Maybe in addition to this,
many people in Uganda don't like to be told the truth. Here we have a tourism roads from Kisoro town, which is here where we are, up to that mountain where we have Wa-Gahungu mountain warriors. It is 18 kilometers. But that road is impassable. The tourists are carried. So you imagine the tourists who are carried from here, because vehicles can't reach there. The government got money from African Development Bank. They are supposed to have compensated the people, and they are supposed to have got 3 years now. The contractor is not there. The road is impassable. So how do you expect the people to view government? And when you come here, they say government becomes unpopular because of its agencies, like the Ministry of Works, formerly UNRWA. Now we have another road from Kisoro here, 72 kilometers to Bukimbiri National Park, then to Lake Bunyanya again. Now they tell us the road is going to be made for 10 years. It is in the government books. There is nothing. But in that road alone in Bukimbiri, they get over 300 million per day. So if we don't use the economic rate of return when we are determining which road to be made first, and we use politics, then it means that our economy as a country will be down, will not grow. It can grow politically, and you know when there is growth of politics, there is also growth of conflicts instead of economics. So when we are talking about economics in the road constructions and economic rate of return, where you find about 50 to 100 vehicles of tourists coming, yet they don't see it as important. That thing worries the people, and they say, how do we plan? Do we plan economically? Do we plan politically? That's another issue.
Thank you.
You see, on social economic benefits of the airfield, one, it is on international level, because the flights land here, international guests gain. Two, the visitors also contribute to the economy. So the local citizens, they gain through payment of taxes. So when you land here or when you take off, you pay tax. And this money contributes to the national budget, which national budget is also used and benefits people in Kisoro. But if the infrastructure like this one is here, they are supposed not to be a problem, but they are supposed to facilitate economic growth. Meaning that at least we should be having like lighting. From here to Kisoro is about 2 kilometers. They should be having security lights. You find it is darkness. Now, these ones who have built hotels around here, they should be allowed access to go in. But now, like students who are, if you are coming from Kabale and you are coming here, you travel to Chanika first, about 20 kilometers to go to Kisoro, instead of about 2 kilometers. Though they should have tarmacked. That's what the citizens feel. They should have tarmacked this road here, which is shorter, 2 kilometers instead of 17 kilometers. So they want to have a relationship. They must be collaborative relationship between the infrastructure here and the people, not to see it as a foreign.
Okay. Honorable.
In Kisoro here we have a lot of minerals, other than the volcanic stones or volcanic ash. We have gold, we have tin, we have wolfram, we have iron ore. So we have a number of them. But to attract investors, you need good infrastructure and good electricity. Until recently, until they bought a substation in Kabale, we are not getting power here. So even if someone was going to put a factory, the power would not be there. There is one innocent Bisangwa of milk. He has a milk factory. He was not working. He was losing. And he was actually threatening to take the factory to Kampala because of no electricity and no water. So now that the government has put a substation in Kabale, we believe that water, this electricity will be more stable. But also, of course, investment is private sector. And I think that government has put a mechanism like UDC, like a development bank, where people can go and borrow money and invest. So private sector is led by, government is led by, economy is led by private sector. So we believe that those who are now into processing or adding value to stones, they will be invited and they will come and the environment will be conducive because the market is there. They are shaping these volcanic stones for building, They make them for decorations, and they even export them. And other people are using it for energy saving. They use it for cooking because they last longer than the firewood, and it is clean energy.
Okay. Honorable, in addition, yesterday,
As we have said that we are 8 kilometers from Rwanda and we are 12 kilometers from Bunagana border with DRC. The war in DRC has affected business in Kisoro because the volume of trade went down. And the people who is also to import things through Bunagana, they are no longer doing it. They pass through Chanika, which has increased the costs. And other people have also stopped. People who had got bank loans to trade in Kisoro also have, they have lost properties. So we still appeal to government that they should promote the people who are fighting in the DRC to have dialogue, and the faster they resolve them, the better. But otherwise now, the situation isn't good. Because there is no government at the border with DRC, meaning we don't have immigration there, we don't have customs, so we are being affected by that one.
Nyakabande is also full, Honorable.
Of course, now we can say Nyakabande is a transit refugee center. And we have been appealing to government because Kisoro receives their visitors of different types, tourists and also refugees. Kisoro receives refugees every day, uninvited guests. But the government of Uganda thinks does not allow us to qualify to be a refugee hosting district, which I believe that we have already appealed to government that Kisoro should be among the refugee hosting districts, that they get corresponding benefits.
Akondenda mu rurimi rwahanuye nakeshonga y'abana bari kozesa amabare kujya
abwo kugira ngo kuno hariyo amabare agebeyi n'amabara gukombeka amabara agagora reba amakoro agoreta amakoro ninga volcanic stones abana nkabinji barakira kugarunda bagaguze kandi batunga imisente ezo kugira ngo batunge fees wareba bamwe baragaguza bari kombeka abandi baragaguza baragashara nk'amatafari. So agamabari nago it is a source of income which we believe that people can now also start processing ninga kwa adding value.
Haro plan yo mwine ka government kujya
ikarita PDM eri kandi turabasa kugambira ngo umwana aze mu business umwanya kuza kushoma itwe turayinkarije abana baze kushoma nabari abenda kuza kubeja amabari babanza baza mu technical school ya Nyakabande riva bamanye kubeja amabari gahikire kandi bamanye no kuza kugombekesa konka abana bona abato turabasa kugira ngo bwana buze kwegura amabari ubwo orashesha ubwire bwavumisho
Teka ngo resources zo muri Kisoro ziri kuba underutilized.
The resources in Kisoro and in Uganda, they are underutilized. That's why President Museveni arakira kugambira investors mu ijana kiramahisa ngo President yareta ba investor bararugahera kiramahisa ngo yashanga ngo we mu Uganda tina bari abara basa ku investing. So obujurizo burahamya kugira ngo abantu resources ziri konka abo kuzikoza tibagizire tibari cyo tuma government yareta aba investor bararugahera kibagira ngo harimo bari mu Uganda binji President yukareta razahera ngo bamanza bareta ba investors barugahera
Aba investors ka batoka ba babo orabahabora kugira ngo attract